Yesterday, DICE released a statement explaining the mortar changes with today's update, providing the clarification that allowing them to be deployed in spawn was meant to mainly help attackers in Breakthrough. Realistically speaking, I didn't need an explanation for the problem they were trying to solve because that part was already understood. The issue, though, is what this change reflects. So I think their reasoning for this change was pretty straightforward. Attackers often have fewer safe places to actually set up mortars, while defenders have had a generally easier time setting them up and using them to pin down the opposing team. They also said they want mortars to be a valid counter to other mortars, and that they don't expect much of an impact in game modes like Conquest or Escalation because the mortar kill counts there are already low due to how much constant movement those modes require. And on paper, I think this is understood. If you've played Breakthrough in Battlefield 6, it's already pretty clear that a lot of these maps give attackers very little breathing room between the spawn and the first sector. Sometimes later sectors can also feel as compressed as the first. There's often not much usable space to stage a push, set up support gadgets, or apply pressure without immediately being funneled into another narrow lane. So yes, I understand why this change feels necessary, but to me, that is also exactly the problem, because this isn't just a simple quality of life change. Allowing mortars to be deployed in spawn changes the risk profile of the gadget. A mortar placed in the headquarters is naturally harder to punish through direct pressure, especially in Breakthrough where the front lines are narrower, more predictable, and more compressed as a whole. So even if the intention is to help attackers break defending lanes, the practical effect could be increasing low-risk, indirect fire uptime. And to me, that matters more than the stated intention. Because if attackers can now sit in a headquarters and repeatedly apply safe splash pressure onto defensive holds, then the change also starts to remove one of the few real trade-offs mortars had, which was needing to expose yourself to find a usable angle. And that is why I don't really see this as a true fix. Now, maybe this does help out in the short term, giving attackers a more reliable way to open lanes, clear out dense defense positions, and counter defenders who are already getting more value out of their mortars. But the reason this solution feels understandable in the first place is because some of the Breakthrough layouts already feel so compressed and restrictive. To me, this is more of a workaround for a broader issue with Breakthrough's map design as a whole. Instead of addressing the underlying problem with the map flow itself, this feels like DICE is using a gadget change to compensate for it, and this is really not that different from what I've said in a prior video on the reticle color customization update. Even when DICE addresses an issue, it can still feel like they're responding to the symptom more than the underlying problem itself. So for me, this update is less about the mortars and more about what this change reveals. But I want to know what you think. Do you feel like this is exactly a smart fix for Breakthrough, or does it just expose bigger problems with how some of these maps are designed? Be sure to let me know down in the comments below. I'll catch you on the next one. RAMTEID out.